All right. Well, this is my very first pod or not podcast, just live recording. Um, Kind of excited. So the reason why I'm doing this is because today, uh, December 17th, 2025, we went live with VeriDeal. And so I just kind of wanted to share the story behind VeriDeal, what we're doing, and what we're trying to do over the next, few months. 2.5 years ago, I was at AWS and I was a part of one of the 27,000 people that got laid off. And so I quickly it hit me like a ton of bricks after a few interviews, and they just didn't go well. I mean, they went well. I got to the final round for a few of them, and then they just like ghosted me. But then I started like realizing, okay, um, I have to figure out how to stand out, and so I did what everyone kind of did or does, which is kind of lean into your network, and I got a job. And I was thankful, very thankful. Stayed there for about a year until I got a different job that I was really excited about. Anyways, and so standing out, that's kind of what spurred my interest in creating Verideal. So pretty much, it goes down to you know I've spent, I don't know what, 4.5 years in the military, and then now 10 going on 11 years in sales, two different industries in sales. I've done some really good stuff, big sales, consistency sales, turn around entire markets, teams, help people, all that stuff. But when push come to shove, and I was interviewing after I got laid off, I realized I had two things: a resume and my network. And during that time, you know, understandably, I talked to a lot of people, but um, within my network, and I realized that, like, okay, they are also scared about getting laid off, or maybe their brother or sister just got laid off as well, and they're in the same, same level, same boat that I was, and so instead of referring me to a job, they refer them. So, how far does your network actually go for you? Some might go further, some might go worse. Nah. Yeah, and then resume. I'll be honest. I mean, who hasn't lied on a resume, right? Um, Forged, fibbed some numbers, fibbed a few things here and there. Oh, I'm sure everyone's done that. Anyway, so you have those two things, and then the third thing that people have done and I did it a lot. Get creative, cold call managers, cold call recruiters, and videos, you name it. I think that worked. Let's say I did 100 of those cold calling and whatnot. Um, Less than five, maybe less than five. Um, so that's great. So you're competing against 100 people for a job that is also maybe, let's say, 20%. So 20 people are actually sending cold emails or cold DMs to the hire manager or recruiter. Your resume probably looks the same, maybe a little bit worse, a little bit better. Um, and if you have a network and they refer you in, then fantastic. You are in front of the line no matter what, except when you're not, because the recruiter doesn't like you. But that was only at this one company that I applied to, and I've heard the same exact story about that company. Anyways, um, so yeah, so you have your resume, everyone has, with accomplishments that everyone has, and if they don't have those, they will make them up. You have your network. Some are good, some are bad. It literally depends on the day because someone might need a job more than you. You never know. And I'll get back to that in a second. And then number three is, being different, prospecting the job. Everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing all that stuff. And if you're not, then at least you know why you're not getting an interview. You should try all those three things, and then you can realize, okay, it still doesn't matter because I just did all those three things. Sorry, I've been up since like 2:45 a.m. working on the launch. So I'll get there in a second. And so yeah, so VeriDeal. That's where kind of VeriDeal really came from, is when those three things fail and you have a family and you are unemployed and you are trying to get ahead, get a job, how are you going to do that? So professional portfolio, that's kind of what I'm going with, and building that portfolio of verified proof. And what verified means is in sales, and we're starting with technology sales. I'm wide open to opening up to any sales. It does not matter. And eventually onto pretty much all job, you know. And so technology sales. So you close a deal, and whether you're a hunter or a farmer, it doesn't really matter. You close the deal, and what you're supposed to be is you're supposed to have a good salesmanship, right? You're supposed to have a good relationship, working relationship, even though you might not, want to grab a beer or coffee with that person, but you should at least have a good enough relationship that you can call them, in theory, and you're not just jamming down a product or a service that they don't really need or want. So you fill out, the VeriDeal form, you send it to the buyer, and the buyer gets to rate you, gets to leave you a review and say yes or no. And the reason why this matters is because now, let's say you have a list. I know I do, of pretty much all the deals I've closed and in your past, and so you send all those people an email, be like, hey, can you help me rate me, but at the same time help you, like the buyer side. I'll get to that in a second, but then you as a sales rep can have proof going into the next job application or the job interview, or just sending it out straight to managers, being like, look, this is what I've done. This is what in the past 5 years, whatever, these 10 or 100 customers have said about me. This is how good I am. You have a score of this, or you're really good at that. Anyways, so it just helps you stand apart. It helps you as a sales professional stand above the rest of the crowd with a verified proof from the buyers. So then, making this recording at the end of the day after being up since 2:45, I think. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so I'll skip ahead. So we did launch today, about like 2:30 or so, fully live. There's already some bugs and kinks that we need to work out. So hopefully knock those out tonight. Hopefully I get a nap in before then. Sorry. And then, so Um, yeah, I just wanted to make my first live, you know, YouTube stream, see how it goes. I'm gonna try to do this at least twice, 3 times a week. Talk about the product updates or what we're doing, what we're seeing. Right now we're just getting friends and family on the platform, kind of testing it out, seeing how it goes, getting the buyers activated and engaged. Um, yeah, and so the two other, if you will, uh, people, right? So we also have the network for recruiters slash hire managers. We have the network for buyers, and then we have the network for sales trainers. So for buyers directly. So buyers, when a sales rep sends you one, right now you get to rate them. Now you get to say this person was awesome, this person sucked, really not good at sales, kind of forced me to buy this, and then it kind of helps weed out the industry. But the best part is, this is the fun part about for buyers is you know after we get deals rolling and people engaging, is we'll have data, and we'll have a lot of data across all different industries. And the fun part is for you, for the buyers, is instead of having all these cold calls, all these cold emails coming in, now you get to go find who you want to buy from and what technology you want to buy from which company. So you don't have to deal with, maybe a person 6 months out of college that you have nothing in relationship to. And, let's say you're 50 or 60 years old and now you're talking to like a 23-year-old, you know. Anyways, that's not the biggest point, but like you as the buyer will have control now over um, of what you want to buy and how and who you want to deal with. And because it could be as simple as a 30-day sale, but you know if it's a larger sale, you're talking 6 9 months, maybe 12 months of dealing with the same people. Yeah, that's tough. Tough to talk to the same people a few times a week if you don't like them. So this gives you that control. Now moving over to the sales recruiters and hire managers. So I mean, this has got to be a no-brainer for you. You can log in. So we'll do the recruiter first and then the hire manager. So the recruiter first is like, eventually we'll have the job board, and then you can just post your job within your industry. It already narrows it down. And then what rating you want. Do you want consistency? Do you want big deal? All this stuff. And then you can see what the buyers actually say, and they're verified, and it's proof. And then you can just talk to them, sales reps, or the buyers, to get more reference if you really want. But if you want to talk to the sales reps, you don't have to worry about the 100 other interviews or the 2 potential maybe good fit internal recruits. But if like there's 3 amazing people that fit this billet within VeriDeal and they have all this proof, you just click, I want to talk to all those people, I want to follow them. All right, let's have a conversation. So I mean, it would just, in Ryan, I think his last name's Walsh, from Rep View. He posted this great statistic. It's basically like, if it takes 3 months to hire someone and the quota is this, yada yada yada. For every month the seat goes unfilled, it's about like 300,000 of lost potential revenue or something like that for the company. So imagine that you're 3-month search is down to 2 weeks, maybe 3 from identification. And obviously depends on how fast and how long your interview cycle is. But if it's the typical 3 interview, you already have the proof. Now you just got to make sure that that person is, cool and gets along with the manager. Now managers, same thing, just better, I guess. You don't have to sift through resumes. You don't have to look at resumes. You just look at what the buyer said about someone. And then you're like, yeah, this guy's good. This girl's killing it. I want this person. And that's it. And here's a story that I heard from a VP of sales at a rocket ship company. He was saying how, he was on an aggressive timeline to hire a lot of people. So he did. And he reached out to his network, like I was saying. And here's where the network can fail you. One of his buddies recommended this lady to him and said, she's a killer. So he goes like, great. She's a little bit more senior, so costs a little bit more. Pay. He said it was good. She gets on board. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months later, she doesn't live up to the hype. He calls up his buddy and he goes like, what's going on? And he says, she was laid off. She has 3 kids. So the VP of sales is in a very difficult position because he has to hire, he has to train, and all this stuff, have rapid pace growth company. And now he has a buddy who lied to him that he thought he could trust in his close network, just so a friend of that buddy can get a job. So that's a very repeatable story that I've heard over and over again from hiring and recruiters and all this stuff, because it's turbulent times out there and people are, I don't know, it's they want to take care of their friends and family. So I don't blame them, but build a VeriDeal profile and prove that you're worth it. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess. Anyways, let me stop blabbing for a minute and show you guys what VeriDeal is all about for a second. Yeah, here we go. All right. Here you go. All right. You guys see that good? All right, cool. So this is the home screen, like I said. Sales professionals, recruiters, buyers, recruiters / hire managers. Yeah. Build your leaderboard, dashboard, and I guess we didn't really talk too much about sales trainers either, but when if you think about it from the sales trainer point of view, they're also trying to sell courses. So what better than having a verified, you know exactly how well they're doing or not so well. And now sales trainers, you can market your courses directly to professionals that buyers are saying aren't really that good. Or maybe, hire managers, they want to know which sales course is really good. instead of like going on just LinkedIn and finding who's the most popular, right? You can just look at the sales trainers and be like, all right, this person has 50, 100 sales or verified sales people, and look at their trajectory, right? They started out as like, let's say like a 3.7, and now they're like a 4.5, and they're just closing all these deals. And that's the average trajectory for this one sales trainer. If I was a hiring like a sales manager or a VP, I would do that and pay whatever cost that is, because are you kidding me? Those type of reviews, because then it can relate back into buyers searching for X product. And if your entire sales team is above a 4 point whatever, right? 4.5, now buyers are just like strictly like, okay, well, this is the best company in this industry with all these sales reps. Lead magnet, just boom. So it's been fun. Um, Long days, stressful nights, but happy to be live and you know go from there. But anyways, first YouTube live. I'm sure I'll look back on this years from now and laugh at myself or something. I don't know, but at least I did it. Yeah, thanks for watching. If anyone watches, see you.